Now, who doesn't love a good heist story that features cunning masterminds carefully plotting their next big break-in with the help of some clever cohorts and state-of-the-art gadgets? You'd think these elaborate stunts could only come from the playful imagination of showrunners and screenwriters. But in reality, some actual heists are far stranger than any work of fiction. Just like these 10 most ingenious thefts in history. What's up, fact addicts? This is Discovery Amuse, serving up your daily dose of the most outrageous, outlandish, and out-of-this-world fun facts. Move over, El Profesor, because our number one pick might just make the Money Heist gang look like amateurs. So stick around for that. See if you can outsmart these criminal minds. Number 10, Diamond Heist. This one isn't called the heist of the century for nothing. In February of 2003, Leonardo Notarbartolo and his gang of Italian thieves, dubbed La Scuola di Torino, pulled off the largest diamond heist in history when they successfully stole about $100 million worth of loose diamonds, gold, silver, and other jewelry from the vault of the Antwerp World Diamond Center in Belgium. To pull off the heist, Notarbartolo posed as a diamond merchant and rented an office in the Diamond Center building to gain 24-hour access and score his own safety deposit box inside the vault. He would frequent the building for 18 months to earn the trust of the guards, and the gang of thieves also practiced with a replica of the vault months before D-Day. During the actual robbery, members of the group each had their own tasks. There was the monster, who manipulated the sensors, the genius, who tinkered with the magnetic lock of the vault door, and King of Keys, who broke the locks of the security boxes. Oh, and yeah, there was also Speedy, who essentially screwed up the job when he suffered a panic attack and failed to dispose of the evidence properly that ultimately led to the ringleader's arrest. However, most of the stolen diamonds remain unrecovered. Keep watching, because our number one entry only took 30 minutes to steal almost $20 million. It's ridiculous. Number 9, an explosive job. In recent years, ATM skimming has become more and more prevalent, with tech-savvy criminals installing card readers on ATM machines that collect data from a cardholder, which they can then replicate into counterfeited cards. Yet other thieves still prefer the old-fashioned way, blasting ATM machines to kingdom come, just like these crooks captured on CCTV while bombing an ATM in Mpumalanga, South Africa in March of 2019. The armed perpetrators pulled up to the crime scene in 3 luxury cars. 4 of them are seen waiting on the pavement and rushing in after the explosion. The suspects went inside and bombed the safe as well and made off with an undisclosed sum of money. Number 8, clawing out cash. Some thieves prefer to be as discreet as possible, while others use brute force to get the job done. Just like this company of crooks in Northern Ireland, whose preferred MO involves heavy machinery. Excavators, to be exact. They don't like subtlety, that's for sure. In this clip, taken at a shop outside of Dungiven, the robbers used the heavy equipment to tear down the wall and literally scoop up the entire cash machine. The operator then dumped the ATM into the getaway van that had a cutout hole, and the entire job was done in under 5 minutes. It was already the 8th ATM theft that year, so the authorities formed a special task force to track down the criminals involved. Number 7, Hatton Garden Heist. For their final hurrah, this band of baby boomer burglars plotted to break into the Hatton Garden safe deposit in London during an Easter Monday. And for a last job, it wasn't too shabby, as the heist was considered the largest burglary in British legal history. In April of 2015, over the Easter weekend, the burglars carefully disabled the alarms, rappelled down the elevator shaft, and used heavy-duty drills to poke holes through 50-centimeter thick concrete walls where almost 1,000 safety boxes lie.
If you went round this room, these boxes very, very unlikely to be opened. These boxes not really targeted. This is the working height that they were at throughout this area.
The gang was able to walk out with £200 million worth of cash and rare jewelry that they stuffed into wheeled trash cans. But apparently the lifelong burglars weren't as slick and sly as during their heyday.
We identified these two people on foot, one of which is wearing a reflective jacket, walk round to the front 88 to 90 Hatton Garden.
These two characters look remarkably similar to the ones that were there the night before.
Yeah.
One piece of evidence led to another, and in May of that year, 76-year-old Brian Reeder, who was the suspected ringleader, was arrested by the authorities. Others were captured 6 months later. Number 6. Arma Pilfering. Perhaps one of the last things you'd expect thieves to steal are prescription drugs, but that's exactly what this duo of bandits targeted when they broke into a Texas pharmacy during New Year's Eve of 2016. Instead of the cash register, the thieves set their sights on this large black safe containing prescription drugs that could fetch 3 times its price when sold on the black market. Watch the surveillance video as one of them served as the lookout, while the other was trying to pry open the safe with his tools. To avoid setting off the fire alarm, the thief used a liquid substance to extinguish the sparks and prevent the carpet from catching on fire. They seemed to know where the sensors were located too, because they were able to crawl around the area for 2 hours without setting them off.
These aren't your smash and grab, I'm just wanting to grab a bottle of pills people. They know what they're doing.
The thieves were able to steal almost $1 million worth of prescription drugs that included oxycodone, OxyContin, and Viagra, which will be difficult for the pharmacy to replace because drug supplies are controlled by federal authorities. Number 5. The Great Train Robbery. Based on inside information, known burglar Bruce Reynolds learned that the Royal Mail train doesn't just transport letters and parcels, but apparently it also transported large sums of money. So in August of 1963, Reynolds, along with 15 other men, executed what will later be considered as one of the most famous heists of all time. In August of 1963, the thieves tampered with the stop signal located at the Bridego Bridge at Ledburn in Buckinghamshire. When the train halted, the thieves barged into the train donned in ski masks and helmets, but carrying no firearms. The hijackers took 120 sacks of cash and valuables worth over £2.6 million or £55.5 million in today's value. They were eventually arrested and convicted, with Reynolds sentenced to 30 years in prison. However, a large portion of the loot was never retrieved. Number 4. The Gardner Museum Heist. The Concert by Vermeer, The Storm in the Sea of Galilee, and A Lady and Gentleman in Black, both by Rembrandt, are some of the priceless works of art that were stolen by 2 thieves at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. On the morning of March 18, 1990, 2 men who were dressed as police officers, complete with fake uniforms and mustaches, and this is unconfirmed but probably a bag of donuts,
mind if I have a donut?
Tricked the guards into letting them in by saying that they were responding to a disturbance call. Once inside, they tied up the guards and wrapped duct tape around their eyes before locking them up in the basement. The tandem then proceeded to steal 13 art pieces with a total value of around $500 million.
And the frame was taken down and put on the floor, basically in front of where it hung. And one of the thieves went to work cutting it out with what I think was probably like a box cutter.
Oh, how barbaric! But at least they were smart enough to take the surveillance tapes on their way out to cover their tracks. And to this day, the case remains unsolved, and the museum is still offering a $10 million reward for any leads. Number 3. Tesla theft. In as little as 30 seconds, These thieves were able to steal a 90,000-pound Tesla parked inside a residential property in Borehamwood, UK, by hacking their way into the keyless car system. Because, criminals are getting better and better at keeping up with the most advanced technology.
I could launch a cyber nuke, but it'll completely fry his system.
Props to these guys who knew their way around relay wire systems that could trick a Tesla's computer. One guy held up the wire system near the front of the house, hoping that the owner hung up his key fob by the door. Turns out he did. The contraption then transmitted the signal towards the car, making the system believe that the key fob was in close range. Once the car was unlocked, the other guy drove the vehicle and off they went into the sunset, or sunrise in this case. Number 2. Banco Central Burglary. In May of 2005, a group of experienced burglars leased a commercial space in the center of Fortaleza, Brazil, under the guise of a landscaping company. Neighbors said that they noticed around 6 to 10 men working in the place, and truckloads of soil were being removed every day. Little did they know that a tunnel was actually being dug all along right under their feet. The thieves, who apparently were geniuses at excavation, built a 13-foot deep tunnel that spanned 2 city blocks to reach the area directly underneath the Fortaleza branch of Brazil's central bank. On August 6, 2005, the burglars broke through 3.6 feet of thick, steel-reinforced concrete and looted 5 containers of 50 real bills, which amounted to around 165 million Brazilian real, or $71.6 million. In September of the same year, 5 men were arrested in relation to the heist, and in October, the dead body of one of the alleged masterminds was discovered on an isolated road. Before we go to our number 1 pick, do us a solid and make sure to smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to choose all so you won't miss out on any of our latest life-changing, boredom-busting content. And of course, be sure to turn on notifications in your app settings. Number 1. Dunbar, Los Angeles Vault Break-In. Compton resident Alan Pace III worked as a safety inspector for the cash-handling company Dunbar Armored. He knew where the security cams were located, how the guards moved, and which bags contained the highest denominations, so naturally, he was the perfect guy to orchestrate a robbery job. On September 12, 1997, armed with ski masks, radio headsets, pistols, and a shotgun, Pace and his burgling buddies entered the Dunbar Armored facility using Pace's keys and subdued all the employees inside. It was a Friday night, so Pace knew that the vault was left open. This knowledge, coupled with Pace's earlier surveillance, made it relatively easy for the gang to take $18.9 million in cold cash within 30 minutes without leaving a trace. Unfortunately, 2 years after the heist, Eugene Lamar Hill, one of Pace's co-conspirators, mistakenly gave a real estate broker friend a wad of cash with the original branded currency straps. One thing led to another, and the arrested Hill spilled the beans on Pace, who was eventually arrested in 2001. So, which of these heists do you think deserves its own Hollywood blockbuster movie? Sound off your thoughts in the comments section below. Take home any of our exclusive gear by browsing our merch shelf or clicking the link in the video description. And while you're at it, take our quiz to find out how you can earn extra cash online doing what you do best. Awesome, right? Now, let's lighten up the mood a bit, shall we? Why don't you check out our 12 April Fool's pranks that went too far? It's a doozy. Till then, stay clever, Factnatics, and see you in the next video.